Hi friends, today is a pretty short and sweet video. I had a request for a tutorial on how I style my hairs, specifically these ones. It is not a very lengthy process. In fact, it is quite simple. For those of you who suffer from fine, thin hair, possibly thinning hair, just so you know, you are not alone. And also if you have a short haircut and you have no idea what to do with it, you also are not alone. This is the style I use when I am between washes. So if you would like to know how to style your thin, fine, short pixie hair, then keep on watching. Let's get started. First things first, we take the ponytail down. Good times. I believe I'm on second day hair, and I usually only do this styling process if my hair has not been washed. I try to wash it as little as possible. I try and let the natural oils do their thing, and of course the first time I wash it I like to give it a nice little blowout. When you see my hair straight like that, it's usually because I give it a nice little round brush blow dry. I love it when it feels fresh and soft and you put product in it and it's all smooth, but then the next day I wake up and it looks like this, and it just sort of takes on whatever the pillow did to it the night before. And try and use as little heat tools as possible. But when you wake up looking like this, you have to do something to it. So what I usually tend to do is take my trusty iron. I got this one at a beauty supply store. It goes up to 450 degrees, which is way too hot for fine thin hair. I usually put it out to either 360 or 410. Both are probably far too hot for my baby hair, but I don't make too many passes with it. I usually just do one pass per section of hair anyway, and I don't hold it there. First things first, I usually push everything forward because I want to get at the tiny hairs in the back first. The way my fade works is that I've got these sort of little longer pieces on the back of my head. Essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to curl the entire head all in one direction and then brush it out. Pretty straightforward. First I want to give the fade in the back a little extra body by taking the tongs, grabbing a piece of hair, and then just giving it a little twist with my wrist. Give it a tiny bit of curl and boost the volume in the back, just so it blends together with the rest of the curling that we're gonna do. So after that I push all my hair to the opposite side of my head, the opposite part, and then I just start sectioning it off, starting at the bottom and taking sort of small-ish sections. Take it, continuously rotate the tool while I iron it, which gives it a nice bouncy curl. And then I just take my fingers and comb it out just so it's not too harsh. Because my hair is so fine, it isn't very heavy. I don't have to let it sit in the curl for a long time before brushing it or combing it out, and it still maintains a nice wave or curl. So just make sure you never let your hair sit on the iron for very long. That can damage your hair further, lead to breakage. Obviously your hair is already dead and broken, but we try and maintain as best we can. So I just take little sections, continuously rotate the iron starting from the base, and I usually rotate outwards to give it that initial body at the root, because that gives that root a lot of lift, and when you do this to the entire head, gives your roots a lot of volume. So let's just keep working away. Small sections, lifting at the roots, slowly rotating and curling all the way through. I think the back is the hardest part because you can't see at all what you're doing, so I'm just guessing here. I used to do the curl patterns in haphazard directions, but with how short my hair is, it never brushed out quite the way I wanted it to. Having them all curl in the same direction just means that when you brush it out, it lays all in the same direction and it creates a nice wave pattern. But when your hair's really super thick and long, having those different curls going every which way, it kind of creates a more beachy tousled effect. But when you have those little hairs I do, that shit don't work. Sometimes if I don't get the curl the way I want it to at the end, I give it a little twist before letting it lie. I think the front bits are usually the most important to really nail. After I've curled it all the way through, I usually, at the very end of it, give it one final rotation before I drop it. And try to nail it on the first try with that piece of hair, because what happens the more you go in with a single piece of hair over and over again, the hair just eventually gives up. There's no going back from that. Nearly there. That's all the hair that's left on my head. This method usually works better when your hair does have a little bit more natural oil to it. Curls just form and hold a little better when you have some oils for it to help the process along. Plus it makes it look shinier. We use conditioner and then other products on top of it to make look like it's shiny, when really all you need to do is just leave it alone. Taking the final pieces, I usually give the pieces in the back a little brush and I brush them backward so the hair doesn't just end but actually has somewhere to shape, if that makes any sense. And I don't like it when it looks all piecey like this. I like to give it a nice brush so that the curls soften up and it just gives me a little bit more body back there. I mean, it's good enough for government work. Sometimes I leave it like this when it's like super bouncy and like fun, or if I just want to relax it just a tiny bit, I'll just take my brush and I'll just brush it all the way through with a light hand. And that usually just sort of softens all the curls, blends everything together a little bit better. When you have really fine, thin hair, it can look really piecey. Taking my fingers and sort of redefining some of the curl pattern, giving them a little bit of a swirl. Doing that until you're finally happy with the shape overall of what your hair looks like. And if you're going out somewhere and you need it to stay in place, just give it a little spray with your favorite hairspray. I ain't going anywhere today, so I'm not going to. So for those of you who want to know how I styled my hair, this is it. This is probably a very short video. Let me know if this was in any way enlightening. This kind of style I can usually stretch out over the course of a few more days without having to go back in with my iron. For those of you who want to see my clean hair styling routine, definitely leave a comment down below. I'll do my best to try and figure out how to film how I style my hair straight out of the shower. If you like this little mini tutorial, just give it a thumbs up down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Just a reminder to check out the links down below for my new Patreon. Any and all help is greatly appreciated, and all the money that I get from my Patreon goes directly back into this channel for you guys. If you like me, if you like this channel, if you like the content I create, consider sending a testimonial for my application to become part of the first ever Sephora squad. It's free. You don't have to spend any money to do it. It just takes a few minutes. Please be kind and be generous to everyone you meet out there in the world today, and hopefully I will see you on the next one. Bye guys.